Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know, from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars, topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
All right, and welcome to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, and I am your host, Jesse Tapia. All right, so it is Friday. This is what, March 9th? Yep. This is how the show is going to go down. First segment, we're recapping Thursday's NBA games. Going to talk about them all, talk about a few of the teams that played also. Second segment, we're going to be talking about Demar DeRozan. If you read the title, I'm not asking where Demar DeRozan's respect is as far as him. Where's the respect for him at? All right. Why is no one talking about him as a top player in the league? I'm not saying he's better than KD, not better than LeBron, but I mean, I feel like he deserves a little bit more praise as a player in this league. All right. So we'll be doing that. Third segment, we're going to be talking about teams who are currently trending up, trending down as the season progresses to its end. And then for the fourth segment, we'll be talking about anything else going on in basketball, whether it be maybe the NCAA ACC tournament, anything like that, college basketball, or anything else that comes to mind as far as it all. All right, so that's how the show's going to go down today. So let's just get into it and start off with the games from last night. First up, we have the Boston Celtics facing off with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Celtics won this one pretty easily, right? Timberwolves played well in this one, made some runs, but it's just they couldn't get those key stops against this Boston team in order to get really right back in it. Yeah, they'd be down by 7, 8 points around there, but they just couldn't stop Boston when it mattered, so the runs really just didn't mean anything. But like I said, Boston won this one 117-109. For Boston, you had Al Horford with 20 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 8 of 14, 1 of 4 from the three-point line. Jason Tatum had 12 points, 5 rebounds, shot 4 of 8 from the field in that one. Kyrie Irving, real efficient game from him, 23 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists in 30 minutes, shot 9 of 15, 3 of 7 from the three-point line. Jaylen Brown had 14 points, 5 rebounds, shot 4 of 10 in this one, 1 of 2 from the three-point line. Also had quite the scary fall in this one, all right? I think got the steal, was driving down. All right, split 2 defenders, goes up for a dunk. You know, Jaylen Brown is a real athletic guy, right? He can jump up pretty high and get to the rim pretty easily, all right? So he gets up, and I think just his momentum took him past the rim. So when he tries to dunk, pretty much his legs are out past the backboard. It's looking like, and then he falls off the rim and pretty much lands on his neck or his head. But either way, I mean, it was a scary moment there because his body pretty much cramped up and froze up. His arms were out, stuck, and you could see his eyes oh, that's just real bad and stuff like that. They brought out the stretcher, but he ended up getting off on his own power, walking off, and tweeted after that he just had a headache, so he was fine. But either way, he's in the concussion protocol now. Not sure really what the concussion protocol consists of in the NBA. Not sure if it's like the NFL or anything like that. I mean, the NFL is I don't know, the NFL concussion protocol is a bit weird too. But either way, not really sure what it takes for him to get back. Al Horford's had to deal with concussions before, so I mean, this isn't the first time Boston's had to deal with something like this. But either way, at least it was only a concussion, I guess you could say. It could have been a whole lot worse. And it did look a whole lot worse just seeing how he fell and how his body just froze up. But either way, yeah, he went down in that one. Then off the bench, you had Marcus Morris with 17 points, 5 rebounds, shot 7 of 15, 3 of 5 from the three-point line. Dude has been lights out for the Celtics this season. Probably their best player off the bench. If you're, I don't know, it's either him or Terry Rozier. But Marcus Morris, I feel, has been doing it more consistently this season, all right? Terry Rozier pretty much came alive a couple weeks before the All-Star break and has been good ever since. But Marcus Morris has pretty much been that top guy on that team all season. Played 33 minutes in this one, so he's a big part of this team. Marcus Morris had 9 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, shot 2 of 7 in that one, had a couple of steals, did well to guard Jeff Teague for a little bit. Terry Rozier, he had 13 points, 4 rebounds, shot 5 of 10, and 2 of 6 from 3 off the bench. As for the Timberwolves, you got Taj Gibson with 18 points, 4 rebounds, shot 8 of 10 there. Andrew Wiggins, he had 13 points, 4 assists, 7 rebounds, shot 6 of 21, 1 of 8 from the three-point line. Andrew Wiggins needs to realize that he needs to work on his shot before he can start taking it in NBA games. All right, he's not a good three-point shooter, and he's barely even a decent mid-range shooter. He does best when he's driving into the hole and getting to the rim. All right, every time I feel he got to the rim, I feel like he scored or at least got fouled. So I mean, he's got to start doing that a whole lot more rather than just taking taking a bunch of jump shots. As for Karl Anthony Towns, he had 15 points, 11 rebounds, struggled a bit in this one, had shot 5 of 12 in this game. Jeff Teague also shot 5 of 12, 3 of 6 from the 3-point line, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 13 points. And then off the bench, you had Jamal Crawford with 15 points, 4 assists, shot 7 of 16, and 1 of 6 from the 3-point line. No Derrick Rose in this one, and if, again, didn't have a chance to talk about it yesterday because we didn't have the podcast yesterday. We had it on Wednesday. But either way, Derrick Rose now plays for the Timberwolves. Not sure how much I like him fitting in there. All right, Tyus Jones been a nice little point guard, backup point guard for that team. And just most analysts and writers around the league just do not like Derrick Rose, the basketball player. I think he's done. Don't think he makes... Yeah, they don't think he makes anyone around him better, and I'm more inclined to believe that, right? Derrick Rose at one point, was one of the best players in the league, but that was back in 2010. Now he's just another guy in the league who, had injuries ruin his career, but either way, I guess if he realizes what his role is on that team and doesn't really try to do too much and really tries to help out rather than take over, then I guess it works out pretty well. But he's not going to be a guy averaging 15 points off the bench or anything like that. He'll probably be getting like 9 to 11, if anything, in that little area, maybe 10 to 15 if he's lucky. But, I don't know. Either way, we'll see how it all ends up. But as for the Timberwolves, man, they don't beat the good teams. They don't whatsoever. They struggle against the top 6 teams in the league, all right? I'm not even sure how well they do in the playoffs. Do they make it out the first round? You're probably going to have to play a team like the Pelicans or even the, possibly even the Warriors or even the Trailblazers. Maybe you could beat a team like the Trailblazers, but the Pelicans, I'm not too sure. Right? They've been playing well with Anthony Davis. Yeah, he got hurt. He's going to be out tonight, too, for Friday's game, so we'll be talking about that in the fourth segment. But either way, he's probably going to be back. He'll be playing in playoffs unless he gets hurt once again. But either way, I don't think the Timberwolves can go out and beat a team like the Pelicans, and even if they get past, they're not getting more than a game against the Rockets or Warriors. So, I don't know. Just really don't like how they play against the top teams in the league. As for the Celtics, no news here, all right? You should be beating teams like the Timberwolves since they struggle against top teams. So, not really much to say about that. As for the next game, we had the Brooklyn Nets facing off with the Charlotte Hornets, and Brooklyn won this one 125 to 111. All right, DeMar Carroll, he had 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 5 of 9 from the field, 2 of 5 from the 3-point line. Spencer Dinwiddie had 6 points, 10 assists, shot 3 of 6 in this one. D'Angelo Russell, not a great shooting night from him. 8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 2 of 8 from the field, 0 of 2 from the 3-point line. Allen Crabbe, he had 29 points, 8 rebounds, shot 11 of 21, 6 of 11 from the 3-point line. Allen Crabbe always has these kind of games where he just breaks out and plays extremely well. Off the bench, you had Rondé Hollis-Jefferson with 18 points, 4 assists, 12 rebounds, shot 7 of 13 there. Let's see, and then you had Caris LeVert with 22 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, shot 8 of 15 there. All right, the Nets by far have the best bench in the league, and I'm not sure if it's just because these guys are always out there on the floor. You get guys off the bench playing 25, 30 minutes a game, but either way, they're scoring a lot of points out there, so good on them. For Charlotte, you had Marvin Williams with 7 points, 3 rebounds. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist had 10 points, 5 rebounds, shot 4 of 8. Dwight Howard had 19 points, 7 rebounds. Kemba Walker, 21 points, 6 assists, shot 7 of 11, 3 of 3 from the 3-point line. Nicholas Batum had 6 points, 4 rebounds, shot 3 of 9 there. Frank Kaminsky off the bench, played 22 minutes, 0 of 5 from the field, no points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. You had Jeremy Lamb with 15 points, 7 of 14 shooting, didn't hit a 3 in this one. And then good old Malik Monk played 21 minutes in this one, had 13 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 6 of 14, and 1 of 6 from the 3-point line. It's no secret. Malik Monk has struggled all season long. If he just seems to figure it out towards the end of the season, that works out, and maybe he could be a guy who breaks out in his second season with the NBA. Obviously going to be back in the summer league next year, so just needs to develop some more. But either way, Brooklyn won this one 125 to 111. Charlotte, started off hot after the All-Star break. Now cooled down, pretty much the same Charlotte Hornets we saw before it. So not really much to say there. As for Brooklyn, pretty much just playing for pride here. Not tanking or anything like that, so they are trying to win. But either way, the more they lose, the better Cleveland's draft pick gets. So we'll see how it all ends up. As for the next game, you have the Philadelphia 76ers facing off with the Miami Heat. Miami has seemed to have Philly's number this season, all right? Miami won this one 108 to 99. For Philly, you had Dario Saric with 20 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 5 of 10, 4 of 7 from the 3-point line. Robert Covington, like I said, he struggled this season shooting the ball, at least that's my opinion. Was 0 of 10 from the field, had 7 rebounds, 3 assists, had 3 points also. Joel Embiid, he had 17 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 5 of 18, 3 of 6 from the 3-point line. Ben Simmons, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, shot 5 of 10 there. Then you had JJ Redick with 18 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 6 of 11, 4 of 6 from the three-point line. Off the bench, you had Marco Bellinelli. He had 14 points, 5 of 11 shooting, 3 of 7 from the three-point line. As for the Heat, you had Josh Richardson with 13 points, 4 rebounds, shot 5 of 12 there, 3 of 6 from the three-point line. Hassan Whiteside had 26 points, 8 rebounds, shot 9 of 12 from the field. Goran Dragic struggled in this one, 7 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, shot 3 of 13, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. Tyler Johnson, he had 12 points, 4 rebounds, shot 5 of 10, 2 of 3, got the start in this one. Off the bench, you had good old Kelly Olynyk with 10 points, 7 rebounds, shot 4 of 6. Justice Winslow had 9.6 rebounds. Wayne Ellington, 9 points. All of his points came from the three-point line, and you had Dwayne Wade with 16 points, 6 rebounds, 7 of 13 shooting, and hit 1 3 in this game. Also just took 1 3, all right? Hit the dagger towards the end of the game, too. I mean, Dwayne Wade, it's the second time he's hit a big shot against the Sixers this season, so it's looking like he's starting to fit in more with the Heat, too. Looked like when he first got there, he's like, oh, I'm back, I'm Dwayne Wade, this is my team, but now he's starting to realize again, like, this isn't his team anymore, and he's got a role to do off the bench, so looking like he's starting to play a whole lot better. As for the next game, we had the Phoenix Suns facing off with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and no surprise here, the Thunder won this one 115-87. For Phoenix, you had Tyson Chandler with 10 points, 5 rebounds. Alfred Payton struggled big time in this one, 6 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Shot 3 of 13, 0 of 2 from the three-point line. Devin Booker, 30 points, 6 rebounds. Shot 10 of 22, 4 of 9 from the three-point line. Josh Jackson got the start in this one. Only played 13 minutes, struggled. Shot 1 of 8, 0 of 2 from the three-point line. 6 points in this one, 2 rebounds. For the Thunder, you had Carmelo Anthony with 11 points, 4 rebounds. Shot 4 of 11 there, 3 of 7 from the three-point line. Corey Brewer had 17 points, 4 rebounds in his start. Paul George, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 7 of 16. Steven Adams had 16 points, 12 rebounds, and then you had Russell Westbrook with 27 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, shot 11 of 14, did not shoot a 3 in this one. Russell Westbrook's a whole lot better when he's not shooting threes. We can't lie to ourselves. He's not that great of a three-point shooter. But either way, starting 5 of the Thunder played extremely well, all of them except for Carmelo Anthony. Like I said, only 11 points in this one, 4 of 11 shooting, 3 of 7 from the three-point line. Carmelo Anthony is just... he's past his prime, dude. He's not as good as he used to be, and he probably won't ever be. So, I don't know. There it is. As for the final game of the night, we had the San Antonio Spurs facing off with the Golden State Warriors, and the Warriors won this one 110-107. For the Spurs, you had Marcus Aldridge with 30 points, 17 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 11 of 20, 0 of 1 from the three-point line. Kyle Anderson had 12 points, 11 rebounds, shot 5 of 12 there. Bertrand's had 13 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, shot 5 of 14. Patty Mills only 8 points in this one, struggled to shoot the ball, 3 of 10 from the field, 2 of 6 from the three-point line. Dejounte Murray had 14 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, shot 7 of 14. Rudy Gay had 10 points, 5 rebounds, shot 4 of 7 there. You had Tony Parker with 11 points, 7 assists, shot 4 of 7 off the bench in 18 minutes of play. As for the Warriors, you had Draymond Green with the triple-double, 11 points, 10 assists, 12 rebounds, shot 4 of 11 from the field, 1 of 7 from the three-point line. Kevin Durant, he had 37 points, 11 rebounds, had 11 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 14 of 26, 4 of 7 from the three-point line. JaVale McGee with yet again another start, 13 points, 7 rebounds, shot 5 of 8. JaVale McGee needs to continuously start for this team, all right? Zaza Pachulia has no business whatsoever being on the floor. Steph Curry, bit of a scare for the Warriors fans here, 2 points, 2 minutes, 0 of 1 from the field. Hurt his ankle, left the game with an ankle injury, all right? Not going to be playing tonight against the Trailblazers, and I wouldn't really be too worried. I mean, Steve Kerr's been sitting players for smaller stuff than this. I mean, he'll be fine, I'm sure. It's just going to be a more precautionary thing as the season comes to an end. Klay Thompson had 13 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, shot 5 of 16, 1 of 5 from the three-point line. And then you had Nick Young off the bench with 12 points, shot 4 of 9 from the field, 2 of 7 from the three-point line. Sean Livingston coming in for Steph Curry. He had 9 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, shot 4 of 10. And then Quinn Cook got some minutes in this one, 22 minutes, 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, shot 1 of 6, right? Sean Livingston probably going to end up taking over that starting role for Steph till he's out, so you're going to see guys like Cook come out and get some more minutes. So either way, like I said, wouldn't be too worried if I'm a Warriors fan. All right, I'm sure Steph's going to be fine, just a more precautionary type thing, I'm guessing. But either way, Warriors won this one 110-107. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this segment. Next up, we're going to be talking DeMar DeRozan, talking about the lack of respect he gets in the league. We're just going to talk about a bunch of players in the league too. Just compare them, I guess. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. We spent that first segment recapping yesterday's NBA games, which was Thursday's. Got a bunch of good ones going on tonight, but we'll be talking more about those in the fourth segment. For this segment, we're going to talk about DeMar DeRozan, all right? Dude's been having probably the best season of his career, and no one's really talking about it. And I'm not really sure why. Is it because he plays in Toronto? Is it because that team gets bounced in the playoffs year after year? Or is it just because no one just really wants him? Or wants to talk about him, I should say. I have no clue. But either way, we're going to be talking about that. I'm going to talk about other top players in the league too, which kind of do, like, not really compare, but just, I don't know, maybe we will compare. But either way, yeah, let's just get into it, all right? So DeMar DeRozan, I mean, got drafted in 2009, and to be fair, really hasn't been a top player in this league up until, I guess, the last couple of years, last 3 years, I guess you could say. More so the last 2 years, all right? Let me look at his career averages, all right? So far in his career, he's averaged 19 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds, shot nearly 45%, 28% from the three-point line, 83% from free throw line, and then 82.8, I guess you could say. And then, let's see, his player efficiency rating is about 17.8 over his career. All right, so pretty decent numbers. I guess not good enough numbers to be considered a top player in the league. But this year, all right, 24 points he's averaging, nearly 4 rebounds, he's got 5 assists, nearly shooting 47% from the field, 32% from three. That's 3% better than his 3-point percentage career-wise. Pretty much the same free throw numbers, and shooting better as far as the efficiency field goal rating, and his player efficiency rating is way higher, 22.3 compared to 17.8. All right, last year, DeMar DeRozan averaged 27 points a game. Let's see, how many assists did he have? He had nearly 4 assists, and let's see, he shot from the field 46%. All right, from the three-point range, he shot 26. So obviously, he's doing way better than he was last year. And then 2015 averaged 23.5 points. 2014, 20 points. 2013 he averaged 22. 2014 he averaged 20 points. Then 2015 averaged 23. Like I said, last year he averaged 27. So he's been pretty high up there in the points per game rating as far as mid-20s, I guess you could say. All right. So why don't we really talk about DeMar DeRozan as a top player in this league? Why is he never in the MVP conversation, okay? The last couple of years, I guess you could make the argument that he probably should have been in that conversation at least. But, not even, as a favorite to win, but at least in the conversation, all right? You got guys like James Harden who are in there year after year, deservedly so. I'm not trying to take anything away, all right? But you got James Harden out there. You got Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James. I mean, let's look at it this way. No one even really thinks of DeMar DeRozan as a top 10 player in this league, all right? If I had to say, even I'm not even sure if I do, okay? Maybe I'd go LeBron. I'm not going to name it in order. I'd go LeBron, KD, Steph. All right, that's 3. Then James Harden. Let's see, who else? Ugh, I'm drawing a blank already, dude. Harden, I guess Westbrook. I'll take DeRozan over Kyrie. Would I take DeRozan over Kyrie? I think I might. Either way, I think, no, DeMar DeRozan, he should be regarded as a top 10 player in this league, all right? And like I said, it might just have to do with the fact that the Raptors they play in Toronto. The Raptors get no media love whatsoever, all right? The Raptors have been a good team in the East for the last 5 years, I feel. But their biggest problem is that they haven't made it out the second round in ever, I guess, all right? Haven't really played that well in this little span that they've been playing. All right, with DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. And Kyle Lowry is too. That's another weird player in this league, all right? what do we think of Kyle Lowry? All right, we might just have to talk about the Raptors in this segment because the Raptors as a whole just do not get any respect. All right, Kyle Lowry, I mean, is a top 10 point guard, right? I'd go Kyrie, and again, this isn't, actually I'm going to go in order, all right? So I guess my number one point guard would be, can we consider James Harden a point guard? I'm going to consider James Harden a point guard even though he plays with CP3 too, because James Harden does play the point guard position when CP3's out. So I'll go Harden, I'll go Steph, I'll go Westbrook, Kyrie, CP3 or Dame right there, so that's 5 and 6. John Wall, and I guess Lillard can go right after that at 8. Or Lowry, I should say. All right, so Lowry at number 8. But he didn't get talked about as if he's a top 10 point guard, and I think it just has to do more so with the fact that, like I said, he's just, like Kyle Lowry. The thing about Kyle Lowry is it's not just so that the team just doesn't make it out the second round ever. It's the fact that Kyle Lowry just disappears, all right? Absolutely disappears, all right? Nowhere to be found. Remember last year? I'm pretty positive it was this past postseason, all right, where he had to take a break during the middle of a game. Obviously, he was on the bench or whatever, but took himself to the locker room and needed like a mental check or like a mental break pretty much. Needed to cool off. That's just crazy to think about. All right, a professional player in this league can't handle. And I guess that's not just him. I mean, there's been other players in this league that haven't been able to handle the playoffs and just struggle when it comes down to it. I mean, at one point, it was like LeBron's biggest problem was that he couldn't win a finals. All right, his team couldn't win a finals. That was his biggest thing with LeBron. I mean, remember we were waiting so long from 2003 up to 2012. All right, LeBron was without a doubt the most talented player in the league, but just wasn't regarded as was one of the best because of the fact that he hadn't won a championship. All right, remember his little speech in 2012? It's about time. All right, yeah, LeBron just couldn't get it done, and then eventually he did. Now we're talking as if he's better than Jordan, which he very well may be. All right, everyone has their little top 5 list as far as who the best player is, so it's all subjective and opinionated. But I mean, for me, I think LeBron might very well be the best player in this league, or the best player of all time. No one really has done what he's done before as far as all-around talent and all that. The dude's teams make it to finals year after year. All right, he's a great passer. He's a great rebounder. Not a great shooter, but I don't know. LeBron, I think his shooting has digressed as his careers went on. Because I remember LeBron in Cleveland the first time, watching him play against my favorite team, and the dude would just hit shot after shot after shot, it felt like. Just wouldn't miss, all right? Just clean jumper. But I feel like as his career has gone on, maybe his jumper's gotten a little bit worse, but I mean, he's developed a post game, and he's one of the best post players in the league too, all right? He does everything well. At one point, he was one of the best defenders in the league. Now it's kind of digressed too. I think it's more so just an effort thing. But I guess that's how you last so long in the NBA. You're going to have to pretty much take it easy on some plays. All right. But either way, getting back to the Raptors, I mean, even this year, all right, DeMar DeRozan playing extremely well. By far the best player on the Raptors. They're the number 1 team in the East. No one is even talking about DeMar DeRozan as an MVP candidate. Not even no one. All right. Usually, whatever team is in first place in either conference, they're in discussion for MVP candidate. Last year, Isaiah Thomas was in the top 5 for the MVP. All right, was top 5 because the Celtics finished number 1. Yeah, Isaiah Thomas had a way better year than DeMar DeRozan, but either way, I mean, usually you see those top guys in that conversation. All right, the James Hardens, the Steph Currys. All right, they're always in that conversation. For some reason, DeMar DeRozan just can't seem to find himself there. He's not even regarded as a top shooting guard in this league. All right. And the shooting guard position's pretty bad right now. All right, there's not too many great players there. And I'm not even sure if people think DeMar DeRozan is better than Bradley Beal. All right, I personally think DeRozan is better, but there's got to be people out there that don't even think it. All right, and that's just crazy to me. It doesn't make sense really. So I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of weird to see how his career's played out. All right, he's played what from 2009 2017, about 8 years so far. And, I mean, it's just no hype around him. Hasn't really been a guy that's been injured too many times or anything like that. But I'm not sure what exactly is holding him back to be regarded as one of those top players. All right, he's kind of like there's a little Twitter poll here on Twitter yesterday too that I saw. Who's better, DeMar DeRozan or Vince Carter? Was Vince Carter really that good? All right. Again, I was pretty young when he was in his prime. But, I mean, I feel Vince Carter was more a hype type player. Like, yeah, he was a good player, but I feel like just with the things he could do is just more so hype than anything else. Let me look at Vince Carter's career stats. All right, let's see what we got going on here. He was the 8-time All-Star. Was on the All-Rookie team, 2-time All-NBA team. Was Rookie of the Year. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's see. Vince Carter, first few years in Toronto. Actually, yeah, Vince Carter was a pretty good player on that team. All right, let's see. Averaged 18 points his rookie year, 25 his second year, third year 27, fourth year 24. I mean, that was at his. He did pretty well with the New Jersey Nets. Also, man, Vince Carter's been in the league for quite some time. Came in the league in '98. He's played nearly 20 years. All right, let's see. 7, 5, 12, 15, 18. He's played like 22 years. Unless I'm doing my math completely wrong. 7 years with Toronto, 5 years with New Jersey, which is 12. Dallas, he played 3 years, 15. Memphis played 3 years, 18. 2 years with Orlando, 20. Yeah, he's played 22 years. This is 22nd year in the NBA. Why do we not talk about that more? Or am I getting it twisted? I'm looking at the basketball reference. Maybe he played for a different team. Yeah, he got traded, I think. Yeah, he got traded a little bit. All right, so he's played like 20 years or whatever. All right, got it a little mixed up. But either way, I'd take Demar DeRozan over Vince Carter. I really would. And maybe that's just because I'm a younger person or whatever, and I didn't really get to see Vince Carter in his prime with Toronto. But either way, getting back to the point, DeMar DeRozan does deserve that top player respect. All right. Obviously, he's not better than James Harden, Steph, KD, LeBron, or even a Russell Westbrook, but he deserves to be in that conversation. All right. I think that's probably why we don't think of him as a top player in the league, because we don't talk about him enough. All right. And it's like we have Toronto in the league, and they're the number one team in the East, but it's just no one's really talking about them. Maybe it's just the fact that they don't play in the U.S. and they're out there in a different country, and maybe it's just not too much media hype out there in Toronto. All right. Canada's a hockey country. We all know that. Toronto's a hockey city. Okay? But either way, I mean, DeMar DeRozan deserves a whole lot more respect than what he's getting. Same with Kyle Lowry, too. I understand Kyle Lowry, I guess, also, though, just because of the fact that he struggles in the playoffs year after year. But as far as it all goes, I mean, Toronto as a whole needs a whole lot more respect than what they've gotten so far in this league. All right? They very well might make the Eastern Conference Finals this year and could be a finals team. I mean, they got a game against the Rockets tonight. That's one thing that hurts, too. They're playing the Rockets tonight, but that's not even on national TV. The Toronto Raptors are hardly ever on national TV. All right? And that's one thing I noticed, too. That's probably one of the biggest reasons. It's like in college football, okay? If you're a college football fan, you know this. In college football, it's all about the East Coast teams, right? The SEC, ACC, all those conferences. Pac-12 puts out good football, but Pac-12 doesn't play till about 7:30 at night. So it's about 10:30 on the East Coast. All right? Pac-12, they have a bunch of good players out there, but none of them ever win the Heisman because no one ever watches them. All right? Maybe that's the thing with the Raptors right here. They're never on national TV, so no one ever really watches them. No one sees what DeMar DeRozan is doing. No one sees what Kyle Lowry is doing. All right, maybe that's just one of the biggest things there. But either way, like I said, team deserves a whole lot more respect. But that's all I got to say about that. Next up, we're going to be talking about teams that are trending up right now. Probably talk about teams that are trending down also. Maybe just split it up. Talk about a few teams in each segment. But either way, that's what we're going to be doing. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC basketball podcast. So far today, we recapped Thursday's NBA games and talked a bit about how the Toronto Raptors as a whole really don't get respect. Same with DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. So we did that. And I know for this segment, we were supposed to talk about teams that were trending up and trending down, but I'm going to move that over to the fourth segment. I want to talk about the Pelicans, all right? That's one thing that's really intriguing to me. All right, I know Anthony Davis is going to be out for a couple of games with his ankle injury, and I'm sure it's more so a precaution type thing, like with what the Warriors are doing with Steph Curry. Because obviously, if you're the Pelicans, you have a real shot at making it out the first round. Like we all can agree at this, right? Agree on this. The Pelicans are a real good team, okay? And I think they have a lot going for them. They're not getting. That's one team too who's not really being talked about enough. All right, let's see. The Pelicans. They're currently the 4th seed in the West. Half game back of the Trailblazers, a game and a half up on the Spurs, and that could be subject to change because Kawhi probably going to be back this month. But yeah, the Pelicans, they're a good team right now. Okay, 17-12 at home, 21-14 on the road. That's huge right there too. That road record. All right, I think that's probably one of the best road records in the West. Yeah, that's the 3rd best road record in the West. All right, only the Rockets and Warriors have a better road record. Let me see what the road record is looking like compared in the NBA as a whole. All right, so they actually have the 5th best road record in the NBA. All right, that's huge. That's big. That makes me even more excited about them playing in the playoffs, okay? Because now you play a team like the Spurs where it's going to be difficult to beat them at home. It's all right because you know what? You know what it takes to win on the road, all right? And maybe you can go out and possibly take a game and win a game in Houston, maybe even Golden State, depending on who you're going to be playing. But either way, I mean, I like what the Pelicans are doing, all right? Especially Anthony Davis. That's one player, too, who's pretty much inserted himself into the MVP conversation. And it's going to be tough this year because I feel like everyone has pretty much came to the conclusion that James Harden is going to be the MVP winner this season. And rightfully so. I mean, James Harden's averaging, 31 points a game. Probably going to be averaging around 7-6 assists a game. Can't remember exactly how much. But either way, James Harden's been playing on fire this year, all right? And, I mean, that's good for James Harden that he's finally going to win the MVP this year. Because, I mean, he probably should have won it that second year Steph won it. Or was it the first year Steph won it? I think Steph won had the unanimous MVP that first year he got. In the second year is when it was between him and Harden. Or I remember, too, it was a big old thing. They had the little players awards and stuff like that where the players vote. And the players voted James Harden as the MVP and all that. And like I said, it just went to Steph from the league. But either way, I mean, he could have won it that year. And then there's last year where Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double. I mean, I guess Russell Westbrook deserved it, but he averages 2 or 3 assists less. James Harden was winning it. All right, James Harden very well, if it would have worked out his way, could be going on his 3rd MVP right now. Okay? And that's, I don't know. This isn't a James Harden segment, so I can't really spend too much on him. But either way, I mean, I like what he's doing, all right? So James Harden should be winning it, but Anthony Davis very well could possibly steal it, all right? Anthony Davis has been a monster since DeMarcus Cousins went out. And I'm not saying that the Pelicans are playing better since DeMarcus Cousins is out. I think it's more so a motivational thing than anything, all right? Because DeMarcus Cousins, without a doubt, was the 2nd best player on that team and could even be argued as the best player on that team, all right? DeMarcus Cousins is that good. Let's not forget about it, all right? But either way, when he went down, it was pretty much, me included, it was pretty much the Pelicans are done. Nice little run. They're not even making the playoffs. No chance. Dude, they've gotten better since DeMarcus Cousins got hurt. All right. And again, it's not so that DeMarcus Cousins was holding them back. It's more so a motivational type thing. All right. Cousins goes out. I'm sure Davis and all of them knew that we were all counting him out. All right. Me included, pretty much everyone that's anyone was counting him out. All right. Unless you were a Pelicans fan. If you're even then so, if you're a Pelicans fan, did you really think that the Pelicans were going to get even better without DeMarcus Cousins going down? Or did you just think that season was over? Oh, well, it always happens to us. Someone always gets injured. All right. I'm sure that's what had to be the majority of their fans thinking right there. All right, but here you go. You got Anthony Davis, who's averaging, it seems like, 35 points a game and pretty much 12 rebounds or something. It's got to be something near that, something ridiculous. The dude has been on fire, all right, making everyone around him better. You got Drew Holiday. Okay, Drew Holiday can score the ball, but he's elevated his assist numbers. He's also been playing extremely well. All right, you got a guy like Emeka Okafor, okay? And that's quite the name drop right there, Emeka Okafor. Remember when he got drafted by the Charlotte Bobcats? Bobcats aren't even a team. Yeah, I guess they're the Hornets now. It was just the name change. But either way, I mean, Michael Jordan's been a real bad player real bad front office guy as far as drafting goes. Then he drafted Kwame Brown. I think he drafted Kwame Brown. I can't remember the exact story, but he drafted Kwame Brown because he was playing him one-on-one or something like that. Or he saw Kwame Brown playing one-on-one. He's like, yep, we got to get this guy. This guy's going to be very good and stuff like that. So that's why they drafted him. And then he drafted Adam Morrison, all right, the Gonzaga legend. Probably the best player to ever come out of Gonzaga. I don't know. Was Kelly Olynyk or who was better, Kelly Olynyk or Adam Morrison? All right. And I think we got to go I'm just talking college too. Obviously, Kelly Olynyk by far had the better NBA career, but Kelly Olynyk didn't get drafted. What, number 1 it was? That's crazy. Just think about it. Adam Morrison, all right? Think about how good he was in college and just think, all right, is that worthy of a number 1 pick? Not even basing on how his NBA career went. Just think, Adam Morrison in college at Gonzaga. Is that number 1 pick worthy? Probably not. All right, probably not. But either way, he was, and he just never worked out. I remember when he ended up with the Lakers. Man, Adam Morrison, quite the player in college. Pretty terrible in the NBA. I guess you could say Kelly Olynyk was better. Kelly Olynyk was a sharpshooter in Gonzaga. Pretty good shooter now. All right, did well with the Celtics. That crazy Game 7 he had against the Wizards is probably the best game he's ever had in his career. But either way, he's been doing pretty well with the Heat. But getting back to the point, Emeka Okafor. Right? You got guys like that. I think Emeka Okafor was in China before he came back to the NBA, right? Didn't work out well with the Bobcats, went to China, came back, and here he is. He's a starter for the Pelicans, okay? And it's not like he's playing 30 minutes a game, 35 minutes a game. He's only playing about 15 to 20 minutes a game, but either way, he's producing. He's playing well, all right? He's putting up 6 points, few rebounds, 5 rebounds, doing a job, all right? And you got guys like Nikola Mirotic off the bench. That's huge right there. Averaging probably around 20, 19 points a game, I feel, for the Pelicans. He's been playing extremely well since he's got there. Probably even better than how he was doing with the Bulls. And that's one thing, too. The Bulls try to trade Nikola Mirotic because he was too good to play on that team, right? With Mirotic on that team, you're going to have opportunities to go out and win. Mirotic off, you're not really going to play that well. So, I mean, he's a huge bench addition right there. Nice little 6-man for them. You got Ian Clark, who's been playing well for that team. Not putting up big stats or anything like that, but nonetheless, filling out a role that means something, all right? Playing extremely well there. All right, so those two guys have been playing well. You got Etwan Moore, who's been a nice little wing player for that team. If you remember last year, I think it was, didn't they have like Jordan Crawford and Solomon Hill as their starting wing players last year? Drew Holiday was the starting point guard, I believe. All right, just think about that. Solomon Hill and Jordan Crawford were their starting wing players. And those are nice little NBA players, but they're not starting caliber. They're not going to make you any better. That's why the Pelicans struggled so much with Cousins and Davis. They'd be putting up big points and big rebounds, but you're not going to win games because those are the only 2 producers you have there. Now they have Drew Holiday and Etwan Moore. Those guys are putting up points, especially Etwan Moore. Remember Etwan Moore, when he started off with the Celtics, was a nice little player there that they drafted. Then he went to the Bulls, played well there, and found his way to the Pelicans. He's been playing extremely well. I think last year he was off the bench last year, and I was thinking that they should be probably starting him because he was putting up points. But either way, now he's a starter, and he's playing extremely well. And then you got important pieces like Rondo, veterans on that team, right? The Pelicans are still relatively young. Anthony Davis has only been in the league for 4 or 5 years, I feel. I gotta double check that. It feels like Anthony Davis has been playing for quite some time, like at least 6 years. Honestly, it feels like he's been on his 7th year with the Pelicans. Let me see how long he's been out here. And that's actually, I'm gonna get into that too. He got drafted in 2012, so this is like his 6th season. All right, yeah, so this is his 6th season. I was right, but either way, he's 24 years old, still a young player. All right, so you got guys like Rondo out there where the Pelicans, they're going to be making the playoffs. That's a lock right there. The Pelicans will be making the playoffs. So you got a guy like Rondo who's been there before. Rondo's won a championship. Rondo's been the best player. Rondo at one point, let's not forget, he was at one point the best player on the Celtics. We can't forget that. Even with Paul Pierce, Garnett, and Ray Allen, there was one point, probably in 2012, where Rondo was the best player on that team. All right, you had guys like KG and Paul Pierce, and that was Rondo's team. Let's not ever forget that Rondo was that good at one point to where the Celtics was his team. He was by far the best player on that team because the team was getting old. I remember in 2012, didn't he have the 45, 15, and 15 game? Or something like that. It was 45, 15, and 8, and they ended up losing still to the Heat. That was quite the game from Rondo. But anyway, you got a guy like that who, I mean, Rondo, ever since he left the Celtics, was kind of been a journeyman type guy. Went to the Mavericks and probably the most hated player in Mavericks history. All right. Dude went there, was supposed to help them in the playoffs and didn't even play a couple of games. Didn't even get his playoff money, too, for making it. All right, just really didn't work out there. Rick Carlisle, I could tell, hated him. Just didn't work out. All right, Rondo's got an attitude, and it's tough to deal with. All right, just wasn't even trying on defense, too. I think he admitted that also. Just wasn't trying at all. Then he ends up in, where did he end up after that? Didn't he end up with the Bulls? I got to check Rondo's teams now. That little from the Celtics to where he's at now, like that's kind of like, Rondo's got to try and forget about that. Yeah, he did play with the Bulls. I forgot. Yeah, last year he was on the Bulls. I forget about that. He missed the playoffs. Rondo didn't get hurt in that playoff series. The Bulls very well could have knocked off the Celtics in that round. Rondo was playing that good. All right, yeah, so he went from Boston to went from Boston to Dallas to Sacramento. Sacramento, Rondo was all right, kind of a leader on that team. Him and DeMarcus Cousins were playing pretty well there. Then he goes to Chicago and was okay. Really wasn't doing too much all season, but like I said, once that playoff series happened, I mean, the dude was playing lights out, pretty much coaching for the Bulls. I felt like dude was playing just crazy good. All right, and then now he's with New Orleans playing well here. All right, he's only averaged seven points a game, 7 rebounds and 7 assists. He's not out here shutting it down or anything like that. But nonetheless, he's playing really well. All right, actually, he's averaging 7 assists, 4 rebounds. Read that wrong, but either way, he's playing well. All right, and that's what, getting back to the point. I mean, that's what you need on a team like the Pelicans. Okay, all a bunch of young players. They've never done it before or anything like that. But either way, here they are. Okay, playing well. DeMarcus Cousins on this team, yeah, they're probably not at the position they're at right now in the standings, but nonetheless, they'd still be a good team. I mean, you got guys like Anthony Davis, and they could have made a finals run with DeMarcus Cousins, and personally, I don't think they would have made it to the finals, but they could have scared some teams. They could have scared the Warriors and Rockets, all right? If they would have been playing how they are now with Cousins. Okay, because look at the fact, look at it here. I think they can make it out the first round, and I think they will. Whether they're playing the Spurs with Kawhi or without Kawhi, whether they're playing the Timberwolves, Thunder, Clippers, or Trailblazers, I think the Pelicans are by far the third best team in the West, okay? When they get to that second round, I think they could get a game or two out of against Houston, win one. I mean, I don't think they're going to beat Houston in a series. And against Golden State, I really wouldn't go too far to say they can get a game or two out of there. Maybe they could get a game, but it'd still be pretty tough beating a team like that. All right, Golden State, I think, is head and shoulders ahead of every team in this league, even with Houston playing as well as they are. All right, it's just, I don't know, maybe it's just I've gotten used to Golden State dominating, and that's what it is. But I really just truly think Golden State is that much better. All right, but either way, getting back to it, the Pelicans, yeah, they're pretty set up nicely for the future. You got Anthony Davis saying that DeMarcus Cousins wants to be back in New Orleans, all right? And I believe him. I mean, and that's one thing too. DeMarcus Cousins, he's a tall guy coming off of an Achilles injury. We're not sure how well he's going to be playing. But either way, I mean, DeMarcus Cousins comes back to the Pelicans. All you need really is a 3-guard and probably a possible point guard unless you like Rondo that much. Because, I mean, Rondo's like, 32, 33 years old? His career is going to be coming to an end pretty soon within the next couple of years. I think the Pelicans got to get younger. You got a young guy, or you got a guy like Nikola Mirotic coming off the bench. I mean, maybe they pull off a couple of trades or two if they can, if they have the pieces to. But either way, this is one thing that's kind of encouraging too for the Pelicans, all right? Because there's been rumors going around that Anthony Davis could get traded in the offseason if they weren't playing well. But if they end up making the playoffs as a top 4 seed in the West, that's got to be something that's motivating for him. If I'm him, I'm signing an extension with New Orleans, right? That's his team for sure, and they're playing extremely well with him. So, I mean, really, that's all I really got to say about the Pelicans. Just wanted to talk about them a bit, give them their respect. Kind of like a team that Toronto doesn't get theirs. The Pelicans kind of deserve theirs, all right? And I really hope the Pelicans make it as that 3 seed. I think them playing the Timberwolves or the Thunder is going to make them look even better because, I mean, they could beat the Timberwolves or Thunder in 6 games, I think. So, it'll be interesting to see. But all of this depends on the fact of Anthony Davis staying healthy. If he can't stay healthy and he ends up getting hurt, then they're done. But if he's able to stay healthy and make it into the playoffs, then boom, they're a team, not a team to beat, but a team to be worried about, I guess you could say, because they've been playing good basketball. But that's all I got to say about that. Next up, we're going to be talking about the teams that have been trending up, trending down a bit, talk a bit about each of them, and then we'll be making my picks for tonight's NBA game. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. So far today, we recapped Thursday's NBA games, talked about each of them, gave the scores and stats for all, talked a bit about each team too. Second segment, we talked about the Toronto Raptors. Wasn't going to talk more about DeMar DeRozan, but we ended up talking about the Raptors as a whole. Third segment, we talked about the Pelicans, Sam. That was probably my favorite segment to do today because I really like this Pelicans team right now. I like how they've been playing. I like how they've been doing with Anthony Davis. I know he's been out for a couple of games with an ankle injury, but I'm sure he'll be back. Well, yeah, he's going to be back, but like I said, I mean, hopefully he just stays healthy until the playoffs get here, and even then stays healthy then. But either way, I really like what the Pelicans are doing. For this segment, we're going to be doing teams that are trending up and trending down, and the Pelicans would be a team that's trending up right now, all right? Just piggybacking off of what we said in the last segment. I mean, they've been playing well. Their team that's set up kind of nicely for the future, if you think about it. If they keep all the right pieces, are able to build around maybe Anthony Davis and bring back DeMarcus Cousins, then I think it works out. And bringing back DeMarcus Cousins, too, you don't need DeMarcus Cousins to be the best player on a team. All right, if Anthony Davis can sustain this for the rest of his career, how he's playing right now, and just keeps elevating himself, you don't need DeMarcus Cousins to do everything. All right, so that's one thing, too, that could work. And with Anthony Davis saying that he said that something like DeMarcus Cousins said he'd like to be back or whatever, I'm sure that'd work out, too. And I'm sure you could attract free agents coming to this team also with those two guys, all right? They're going to be a good team going forward. It's not going to be like they make the playoffs this year and next year they miss out. No, I think they're going to be stuck here in the playoff race year in and year out. All they got to do is go up. All they can do is go up from here, I think. So we'll see how it all ends up. But, yeah, that's a team that's trending up right now. Also, another team we talked about, the Los Angeles Lakers. All right, we talked about them on Wednesday or Monday, I believe it was. But we've more so talked about them and LeBron. But either way, I like what they've been doing lately, all right? After the All-Star break, they've been probably one of the best teams in the league as far as wins and losses, okay? Lonzo's been playing well. Brandon Ingram's been out for a week with a groin injury, but either way, he's been playing well all season. Same with Kyle Kuzma. Dude's been probably the best rookie on that team. And that's with Lonzo playing well the last couple of weeks, all right? But Kuzma's been playing extremely well. Julius Randle's been a beast so far this season. I think he might be a free agent after this year, but if I'm the Lakers, I might want to bring him back. All right, and that's just one thing, too, that has to go with the Lakers. It's just what are they going to do with LeBron and Paul George? Are they going to bring him in? Are they going to choose to sign there? Because if they do, I don't like it. All right, the Lakers are going to be a good team, but you're not going to be competing with teams like the Warriors or Rockets. All right, it's not going to be like that. So, I don't know. The Lakers are a team that's trending up. Like I said, I really like the way they're playing. I like Luke Walton, too, okay? Because at one point, there was kind of like some speculation of, is he a good coach, or was it just a matter of he was a product of that good team in Golden State when he coached for that half the season and played well, all right? Or coached well, I should say. All right, and they won all those games. But it looks like he's starting to, like, and that's one thing, too. Playing in LA with his new generation of talent, meaning pretty much my generation, the millennials coming into the league, we're not the best to talk to, all right? We're not the best to get to as far as just reaching and pretty much teaching and stuff like that. We all think that, and not me, but I'm talking about in general, they all think that we're the best, all right? And pretty entitled, I'd say, okay? And I think Luke Walton's done well to pretty much rein that in and get them all together and pretty much get a hold of this team, I think. All right, and I think he's the right coach for this team, too. But like I said, I really hope Magic doesn't bring in LeBron or Paul George. That's just going to mess everything up. You bring in LeBron, you got to get rid of Lonzo. LeBron didn't want to be on a team where LeVar Ball is just chirping the entire time because you know ESPN is going to run with that. They'd love that, all right? So Lakers are a team that's trending up right now. Let's see, who else is trending up right now? I say the Miami Heat, playing well. I think they won the last two games, playing well against the Philadelphia 76ers. All right, and they're close to making their way back up to the 6th seed in the East. All right, you make your way up to the 6th seed in the East, you're going to be playing the Cavaliers. All right, because I think that's how it's going to end, too. I think it's going to be the Raptors at number 1, Celtics at number 2, and that could change possibly, but I think it's going to end up Raptors at number 1 when it's all said and done. Cavs at number 3. All right, right now the Heat are a game back of the Sixers, half game up on the Bucks. So, I mean, very well. Sixers lose one more, Heat win one more. You know what that means? That means the Heat end up making it up to the 6th seed, all right? And I think the 4 and 5 seeds are going to end up saying the same, too. I think it's going to be the Wizards and Pacers playing each other in the first round, and, I mean, it could be anyone's guess from 6 through 8. But after that, I mean, you don't have to really worry about anything because Detroit's not making the playoffs. Detroit, I think they tried something with this whole Blake Griffin thing, but I think it's going to blow up in their faces. If anything, Detroit needs to trade Blake Griffin, trade Drummond, and just completely blow it up. Just rebuild, all right? Completely blow it up. Be like the Magic and Kings. Just, you've been bad for quite some time. Now, just officially start the rebuild. Blow it all up, start tanking, whatever it takes. But the Pistons are just a bad team. That's the team who's trending down right there, too, all right? The Pistons started off hot with Blake Griffin, but now, I mean, now they're just a team with Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond. Just haven't been playing well. Can't beat the good teams. Can't even beat the bad teams. All right, struggle on the road. All right, just haven't really played well. Let's see, what are they in the last 10? 2-8 in their last 10. That's brutal. All right, the Heat, they're 5-5 in the last 10. I kind of got off the Heat a bit right there. I went from the Heat to Detroit. But getting back to the Heat, I mean, yeah, they're a team that's trending up. You got Goran Dragic. I'd say Goran Dragic is the best player on that team. All right, Hassan Whiteside's a nice, good center, but Dragic, I think, without Dragic, this team didn't even make playoffs. Dragic is like the guy that makes it all work. All right, he's the machine. He's like the button on the machine. All right, you press the button, the machine, all the other parts start working. That's Goran Dragic right there. All right, really like the way he's been playing this year. People were kind of, oh, he shouldn't have made the All-Star team over Ben Simmons. Yeah, he should have. All right, he should have, no doubt. So, yeah, that's a team that's been trending up. Let's see, who else? Maybe we'll move over. Let's see, anyone else? I mean, I don't want to talk about, like, the Charlotte Hornets. That's a team that's been trending down. Started off post-All-Star break hop. Ever since then, kind of teetered off a bit. They've lost 5 in a row, so really haven't been able to play well at all. I mean, I'm not sure really what it took for them to start off so hot after the All-Star break, honestly, but either way, I mean, same old Charlotte team this season, and they got to trade Kemba Walker in the offseason. There's no way you keep him. You're not going anywhere with Kemba Walker as your top player, and I'm not saying trying to take anything away from him, but there's just no winning with this team. And same with Dwight Howard. I mean, are you going to be able to keep him, or are you going to trade him also? So that's one team that's trending down also. Trailblazers, they're trending up 9-1 in their last 10. Team has been on fire this year, all right? Not this year, but post All-Star break, I should say. All right, 9-1. They got the Warriors tonight. Steph Curry's not playing. Believe it or not, Vegas has the Trailblazers as the favorite in this game. All right, they've been playing extremely well. Damian Lillard, another guy too, is inserting himself in that MVP conversation. That's crazy too. We got all these players inserting themselves in the MVP conversation, but we all know who's winning it this year. All right, but either way, yeah, Trailblazers trending up, playing extremely well, and pretty much you can't stop them. Right now, they've won 8 in a row. That's good for the third best winning streak probably in the league. Honestly, let me see what we got going on here. Yeah, third best winning streak in the league. You got the Rockets at 17 wins in a row, and the Pelicans. I did not notice the Pelicans have won 10 in a row. I did not realize that at all. But man, the West is starting to get a little bit better. Trending down is the Spurs. I mean, Spurs are 3-7 in their last 10. I don't know. Spurs just really don't excite me at all. Maybe when Kawhi gets back, they'll be playing better, but just really haven't been looking good. Timberwolves, they're trending down. I mean, that has to do more so with the fact that Jimmy Butler got hurt. And once they get him back, I'm sure they'll be better. But even with Jimmy Butler, they weren't beating the top team. So that's a team that's trending down. And pretty much, you got the Jazz. I guess you can say they've been trending up 8-2 in their last 10, 1-4 in a row. If they would have been playing this way all season, they'd be a top team in the West too, as far as top 5, top 4 type team right there. But either way, they're trending up, so they've been playing extremely well. So those are my trending up and trending down type teams. We might just make that a weekly Friday segment. So, yeah, now we're going to make my picks for tonight's NBA games. Let's see what we got going on today. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games going on today, I believe, all right? So let's start off with the first game. We got the Bulls facing off with the Detroit Pistons. Like I said, Pistons haven't been playing well, but, I mean, the Bulls are tanking right now, 7-24 on the road. Pistons are 20-14 at home. I got to go with the Pistons in this one. Then we got the Hawks facing off with the Pacers. Hawks are just a bad team, terrible team, 5-26 on the road. Pacers have been playing pretty well as of late. I think the Pacers are going to win this one pretty easily, all right? So I got them winning. Then we got the Rockets facing off with the Raptors, all right? Second segment I talked about, Raptors don't get enough respect. It's true. Rockets are favored by 2.5. They're 26-7 on the road. Raptors are 27-5 at home. I'm going with the Raptors, right? They're going to knock off the Rockets tonight. They're going to end that streak. I think the other day I picked the Bucks to end the Rockets streak. Pretty wrong about that, but I think I'm going to get it right this time, right? So I got the Raptors beating the Rockets. Then we got the Jazz facing off with the Grizzlies. Jazz are winning this one, no doubt in my mind. Grizzlies are a bad team. Jazz are playing good basketball as of right now, 8-2 in their last 10. Then we got the Knicks facing off with the Bucks. Knicks are 1-9 in their last 10. Bucks have been playing all right, 20-14 at home. Knicks are just terrible, so I got the Bucks winning that one pretty easily also. Then we got the Wizards facing off with the Pelicans, all right? No Anthony Davis in this one. That 10-game winning streak is going to come to an end, I believe. The Wizards have been playing well lately, so I think they're going to be able to pull it off here. Then we got the Lakers facing off with the Nuggets. Lakers have been playing good basketball, but Nuggets are just a really great home team and just all around a better team, I think. So they're 24-10 at home. Lakers are 13-20 on the road. No Brandon Ingram, I believe. So I'm going with the Nuggets. I think Nikola Jokic's gonna have a good game here too. Then we got the Trailblazers facing off with the Warriors in Portland. Portland is 21-11 at home. Warriors are 25-7 on the road. No Steph Curry. Portland is favored, but I'm going to go with the Warriors in this one, all right? Still can't go against KD, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. Still think they're going to be able to pull it out here. Then we got the Magic facing off with the Kings. Tankathon game of the night. I'm going with the Magic in this one. Kings are a bad home team. Magic are a bad team all around, but I think they're going to be able to pull it off. And then for the final game of the night, we got the Cleveland Cavaliers facing off with the LA Clippers. Cleveland's favored in this one. This one's in LA, but I'm going to go with the Clippers, all right? Montrezl Harrell, DeAndre Jordan, my two X factors in this game. Cleveland can't rebound that well, all right? Larry Nance isn't going to be getting boards over DeAndre Jordan or Montrezl Harrell, let me tell you that much. And Cleveland's just not that big of a team, so I think it's going to be a problem for them. So I got the Clippers winning this one, all right? So to recap, I got the Pistons beating the Bulls, Pacers beating the Hawks, Raptors beating the Rockets, Jazz beating the Grizzlies, the Bucks beating the Knicks, Wizards beating the Pelicans, Nuggets beating the Lakers, Warriors beating the Trailblazers, and Kings beating the Magic beating the Kings, and then the Clippers beating the Cavs. So I got 3 upset picks tonight, I believe. I got the Clippers, the Magic over the Kings, Warriors over the Trailblazers, 4 upset picks, all right? And the Raptors over the Rockets. So we'll see if I'm right. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Today we talked about yesterday's NBA games, talked about the Raptors and Pelicans, and then we talked about the teams that are trending up right now and the teams that are trending down, and then proceeded to make my picks for tonight's game. So we'll see if I'm right. Either way, thanks for listening to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. I am your host, Jesse Tapia. We'll be back on Monday, so stay tuned, and we'll talk to you later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.